Greetings, gamers. It is I, Gamer Monster. And today I want to talk about pulling limited units. Because you see, today also marks the last day of the free 10 pulls that Gumi has given all of us. And I'm sure that a lot of you out there have been waiting to see if you can get either Orlandeau or Ramza through the free pulls, which is a smart idea. But today's the last day, so what happens if you didn't get any of them? The question still remains. Should you pull on the banners and try and pull these units? Well, as per usual, that is a somewhat complicated and very subjective question. However, hopefully we can give you some tips to kind of help make a better decision. You see, War of the Visions does things a little bit differently than other gachas. It's not just a matter of pulling a unit. Instead, not only do you have to pull the unit, but then, in order to be useful, you have to make sure that you have both enough time and Visior to be able to get all the shards you need. Now, from everything I've gathered, Limit Break 3 is really the place you need to get your units to be able to have them be long-term viable. Anything past that will just increase their power and make them even more useful, but you need at least Limit Break 3. With your regular units that you pull, this isn't a problem. Because once you get the actual unit, you can then farm their shards in the hard stages. To be sure, that does take a long time, but you can do it. You don't have to buy a ton of their shards in the shop, although that's useful, and you don't have to keep pulling and pulling to try and get extra dupes of them. However, when it comes to limited units, all of a sudden that changes a bit, because once the event ends, the shards dry up. There are no hard stages to be able to farm shards for limited units. This makes the question of whether you should bother pulling them a lot more complicated. Now, there are several different categories of people. If you're the type of person that just likes to collect characters, then yeah, you should probably pull, because you're not concerned about whether or not you can get them to someplace viable or not. Instead, you just want to have them in your collection, and that's a good thing. That's all fine. But what if you actually do want to be able to use them? Well, now it comes to the matter of how much Visior do you have? For those of you who watched my previous video pulling, I spent 10,000 Visior with no Orlandeau. Now, obviously, from the screen that you're now looking at, you can see that I did eventually pull him. It took me 3 more tries. So it took me a total of 8 tries to get him. And that wasn't obviously even guaranteed even then. I could have not pulled him at all. And that would have been pretty awful, because I really like tactics characters and I wanted them both. And I'm paying my way into getting Ramza, most likely. I haven't done my free 10 pull today yet, so I have one more shot to try and get him for free, but if not, I'm going to have to pay for him. But then comes the question of their shards. Now, if you're only interested in getting Limit Break 3 for either of the tactics characters, then I would probably suggest go ahead and trying to pull. As long as you don't spend all of your Visior. Because if you run out of Visior, then you won't have enough for any of their shards. But if you can manage to pull them and still have enough Visior left over for their shards, then that would be a good idea. Because these units, both Orlandeau and Ramza, are pretty powerful, and they will serve you in the long term. And also keep in mind that it has been shown that Gumi does rerun these events. In Japan right now, they're having the second Final Fantasy Tactics collab, which does have new units, but they've also given away to get shards for Orlandeau and Ramza again. Some in the shop, and they've also put up some banners with them back in. So, assuming that things continue in the same way for us here in Global, in several months' time, we'll have another shot to be able to get some more of these shards for Orlandeau and Ramza, or perhaps even pull them for the first time. However, now is really the time to do it, because Our collaboration that we've got going right now has all sorts of different ways of getting extra shards. I mean, Ramza, they're practically giving you enough shards to limit break him 3 times. Not quite. You do still have to buy some of them, but not nearly as many. Whereas Orlandeau is a little bit harder. You can still get 80 of his shards in the collaboration shop for medals, and on top of that, with the new second part of the collaboration that they've released the other day, we have our EX quest that we can see right over here. And if we go to the missions, you can see there's 20 Orlandeau shards that they're giving out with this. On top of that, head to the missions tab. I've already done them, so I'm going to have to go to the completed. Oops, I went too far. Events, completed, tactics, EX. As you can see, another 20 shards. That's 120 shards. That's 2 limit breaks right there, which means that all you have to do from there is to get 120 shards, and you'll have them at limit break 3. And that's easy enough because you can just go straight to the shop and buy them straight out. If you're not playing the RNG game in the regular shop. Speaking of which, let's see if we have any shards here. Like this right here. Excellent. I have already gotten my Orlandeau to limit break 2, and I'm working on his 3rd limit break right now. But the point being is, if limit break 3 is all you're concerned about, you still have plenty of time to get the shards for either Ramza or Orlandeau, and probably both. Now, if you're the type of person that you want to have your unit out at max, level 99, now is probably not a good time to pull. The collaboration is approximately half over at this point. There's not a whole lot of time left to be able to get all those shards, because you got to remember, to get a unit to limit break 5 for a UR unit, that's 600 shards. It may be 500, I may be remembering incorrectly, but I think it's 600. That is a lot of shards to get, even with the bonus shards that they're giving away. And so now would probably not be a good time. I mean, ultimately, it's up to you. I can tell you for myself, after the collab actually hit, I kind of realized that I wanted both of these units. And I wanted them more than I thought I did. And that was posing a little bit of a problem because of this guy right here. As you can see, I limit broke Thancred 4 times in the original 14 collaboration at launch. That took basically all of my resources. I thought I was going to be okay with that because I was like, okay, I'll finish him off, save up some Visior for the tactics collab, and then just kind of go from there. Probably getting only 1 unit. But when the tactics collab hit, I realized no, I really wanted both these guys. Particularly when I made my summons video and didn't get Orlandeau, that felt really bad. So I had actually started re-rolling, to be honest, to try and get both of the units. And I had another account that I'd rolled up that had both of them, but then I had the dilemma of, what about Thancred? I spent all that time and energy to get this cool unit, leveled up and ready to go, and he's gonna, he'll be powerful and serve me for a long time. And then I have another account that doesn't have him. And so I was kind of playing off my previous investment with the new tactics unit. Now, luckily, as you saw, I did, in fact, get Orlandeau. It was the last pull that I was going to make. And if I didn't get him, I was going to switch over to the new account. And there he popped up. I was so relieved. Because now I can just buy Ramza straight up if I don't get him. I can get them both to at least limit break 3. And from there, I could keep Thancred, and all is good. Speaking of pulling for Ramza, let's do that to end this video off. See what we can get. Maybe I'll get lucky. Well, it's a silver book, which means it's at least an MR. Maybe it'll transform, like right now. Right now? Okay, nope. No good there. Well, let's see. It's still a chance. There's still a chance, right? Okay. Just more shards of rares and some super rares, as per usual. What do we got here? Okay, already have that, but that's all right. And more of him. I don't know if I'll ever build him or not. He's okay. Okay, last shot here. Is it going to transform? And of course not. But I will take more of her shards. That's cool. Okay. But that's all right, because now in the end, I'm still going to get Ramza because I'm actually going to pay for him. So yeah, I kind of took the easy way out. But hey, it was an early birthday present for me from my wife, and she is awesome, and I love her for it, and that's cool. But in any case, guys, I hope that my ramblings have kind of helped you to view the situation properly, so that way you can make the right choice on whether or not you should start pulling for any of these units now, or just to hold off. Because there are plenty of great units coming out down the road, and not even just limited units. I mean, regular units like Lucia and Miranda. So there are plenty of opportunities for you guys to get good, powerful units that are not limited. And of course, don't forget, this collaboration is going to be coming back, unless something really weird happens and they decide to not do it for global. But come on, they're gonna re-release it. And so with that, I bid you all a good day.